show coming from the RAC store. With this back in the Mac in the back flow. Let's go, chillin' with raccoons by the back door. Take calls so you can stake more. All I wanna do is making dough, right? But I found this crew and doing alright. We Rackville bitch, ready to fight. So many raccoons ready for the boss life. I might fly high like a kite, right? But always ready for a shite for the right price. Raccoon supply has the right price. Giving you respect if it's likewise. So I'm buying all the mean guys with the clean heart. Read between lies, laser beam through lean eyes. Warrior with clean lies, trash mouth, mean smile, be wise. NFT wise, fuck with these guys. It's the RAC rap from the back lab. 110 of these in my backpack. Crazy RAC rap from the stash app. RAC will take a lead in this haystack. It's the RAC rap from the back lab.
Good morning, RAC FM. Guys, it's the 12th of May 2023, and this is your Cosmos #1 US of A Cosmos Breakfast Crypto Show with your host, Robo, Mayor of Rackville, and co-hosting today, because our other two people are very tardy, we've got Bruce in the co-host seat tonight while we wait for Bbandz to, do the makeup and hair, even though it's on a space, and then Finn's probably going to get up and go to the toilet about halfway through this introduction. So anyway, I care about the one man that's here. Hello, Bruce boy.
Good morning, Robo, or good evening. I know it's late at your place. Man, the sun is shining here. I've been out drinking coffee at the local cafe, chilling, had a little game of chess, and then back home and do some work.
That is the
perfect start of the day.
That's the exact opposite of my day, which has just been a day from hell, like, bro. Oh, my goodness me. I mean, I stayed up too late last night, couldn't go to sleep, thinking about stuff and freaking doing NFTs and all of this sort of stuff. I didn't go to sleep until like 3:30, and I had to be in the seat teaching at 8:30. Oh, dude, I tell you what, I was looking at my soul lying on the floor in front of me crying today, man. That's how bad the day was. Dude, how I got through until lunchtime, man, I've got no idea. Like, I get an hour and a half lunch. 11:30, man, bro. I was just counting down the minutes. I was on my knees praying to God. And
did you say you get an hour and a half for lunch?
Wait,
It's almost French.
Of course.
What the fuck? Hey, Fraser.
Hey.
Hello, mate.
Yeah, I'll read tomorrow. Hello. An hour and a half. That's almost French. That's a long lunch. Did you just nap?
No, do you know what it is, matey? I'll tell you exactly what it is. So it's not me, it's the Thais, right? They basically, none of them want to be doing it. Like, I could do lessons like 8 because I do like 1 hour consultancy, right? For like different people for the same company all the way through the day. So I'll do like a 8:30 until 9:30, 9:30 to 10:30, and then till 11:30. It's because the Thais, none of them want to be like learning or studying with me until 12 o'clock when the lunch kicks in. They're all like to get back to the desk and get their coat on and be ready to like run out the door like with their friends. Like, bro, but like people even hate like the 1 o'clock, after the lunch. I'll often have like nobody between 1 and 2, man.
That just sounds like when I was at school and like you knew lunch was coming because you're obviously watching the clock. And I just remember slowly like everyone working their tables across like towards the door. Like whenever the teacher's back was turned, with the aim of like the closer you could get to the door meant you were like out of the line first. So basically it started up like everyone spaced out across the room, and by the time it was like 11:55, whatever it was, pretty much every table was just jammed up against the wall so everyone could bolt as soon as the bell went. There was just no hanging around. Like bell went, everyone's off some turkey twizzlers.
Bro, I still actually dream about school food. Like, not all of it, but I have to say that cheesecake that you used to get in school, like back in the day. I mean, I went to St. Aidan's, and honest to God, bro, they just had this cheesecake that there's no comparison. You know which one I mean? The school cheesecake, right?
No, the one I was going for is, can you remember like cornflake or treacle tart, that stuff? Because you just don't see it. Like, I can't remember seeing that outside of my school, or like outside of school. It's just not something I've ever seen on like menu. So good, so good.
This is how professional the crack factory is over here. We start like talking about fucking school dinners, man. I mean, what's going on? Anyway, it's lovely to see you. I bet you're probably a bit tired, are you, Fraser? Bloody every time I look at your bloody TL, you're somewhere else in the world, man. You must be knackered.
Oh no, it's good fun. I actually enjoy it. I was chatting to a few people about this. And I think it's like a family thing of we've all got itchy feet. I've traveled quite a lot, love it. Both my parents lived in like multiple countries. My uncles like traveled all around. They actually lived near you actually for a while. Lived in Cambodia just after the Khmer Rouge like fell, and and then my granddad was in the Navy. So it's like
whereabouts?
I think Cambodia. I think he was
wow.
in Cambodia, and he was just around the corner from was it Till Sleng, the prison?
Yeah, S44. Isn't it S44? Yeah, it's like
nightmare fuel.
Wow. Oh, dude, I went in there and it's like they've turned it into a museum. Holy moly, that is so scary. That dude, Cambodia is such a bad vibe, but it's like I had to do it, you know. It was like an exorcism of something I had to do kind of thing, right? But it's brutal, bro.
Oh, like that is like the perfect example of like humans will do awful things to each other. Like if you let them, like it's just unbelievable some of the stuff that went on there. Just horrific. But,
do you know they filled all the lake and everything in now and not? Do you know about that? Yeah.
Is that when they buried all the bodies, or is that somewhere else?
Oh no! This is just in like the last few years. You know the lake, the big like lake where all of the bloody dodgy bars and hooker places were around the outside, like the proper slum. You know, the famous one in Cambodia. I forgot the name of the lake. They've basically filled it in, bro. Like mad. Like I was really amazed they did that. That was like the biggest den of iniquity. I'm gonna have to think of its name, and it's a proper famous one in the middle of like Phnom Penh. Because, dude, like Phnom Penh now is just all Chinese money, you know. The Chinese have come over and built like casinos and stuff, and like a couple of like skyscrapers and stuff. Well, not skyscrapers, but quite a few. Because you remember, nothing was above like 4 or 5 floors before, right?
Oh, the thing that got me was, have you ever been down the southwest to Sihanoukville? That is strange.
Yeah, Sihanoukville. I stayed there for quite a while. Sihanoukville, I've been all over the islands and stuff, yeah.
Because the islands are beautiful, but like if you go through, I was there maybe 3 or 4 years ago. If you go through Sihanoukville, it's just they're throwing up skyscraper hotels like left, right, and centre, but no one's paying for like infrastructure. So the roads are like being on a dirt track, and then you've got these like massive hotels that are going to be like 4 or 5 stars, like heated pools, all that kind of stuff. But just like, and then you walk out and it's like there's no paths and it's a dirt track, and you're like, is no one going to like suss this out? This is really weird.
You know why? Because it's literally, dude, honest to God, it's all Chinese laundering money. It's all money that's been laundered from mainland China, right? Do you think they care about, like, they've got land, they've got a building, they've got property, right? Do you think they care about the road? They're just like, oh, I can park my money here for like 15, 20 years. I didn't have any, I mean, we'll have to get round to Matty. We're rambling already. I thought we would be. The Chinese stuff with this travel ban and stuff is mad. Like, they're stopping the Chinese, like, leaving and shit at the minute. But we'll have a bit of crack about that. Is Mr. Matt? I thought he would be on the official account. Hello, son.
Hello. How you doing? You all right?
I'm bloody good, mate. I'm looking forward to this. Like, I've been pumped all week, eh?
Oh, it's good to hear.
We've put it.
It's been a week, lads. I tell you what, it's been the most stressful week of my fucking life. I'm not lying to you. It's like, oh, Jesus, I can't even talk about it. We've done how many NFT, like, runs and doing snapshots and, like, oh, my God. This Web3 life is not it's not easy, right, Matt? I mean, it's pretty hard work, right?
Well, it can be, but I'm just the guy at the front end. I don't get involved in any of the tech stuff. I'll leave that to the wizards and you guys pushing out your NFT projects and your DAOs.
Matt, you're being too humble on yourself. Like, the sheer number of hours you put in is insane. I honestly don't know how you do it sometimes.
Yeah, a bit of a workaholic, really. Speaking on that, I'll be putting in a letter. You'll receive my letter of complaint shortly.
And he's playing bloody Jim Curry, isn't he, with these parrots and that? I tell you what, I've never seen anything like this, man. Jesus, he's got. I tell you what, jealous as hell when I see those fellas. Huh? How do you get into parrot? Right, come on. I want to get it down to this quickly. How do you get into parrots? I mean, how does something like that happen overnight or what?
It was actually my missus's fault. She was like, I fancy getting a bird. We used to have a bird years ago, and I'm like, distinct and noisy. That's what I thought at the time. And she's like, no, I just want to get one. Well, if you really want to get one, then go and get one. So anyway, she gets this bird. Time went on. I want to get a companion. There's a rescue round the corner. I was like, all right, okay, well, I'm going to have a look. But I know exactly what's going to happen. You're going to walk straight into this place. You're going to see a bird, and you're going to end up pulling 250 quid out to give a donation or whatever, some bird, and you're going to bring it home. So anyway, we got in there. We walked around the back of this like dingy garage way, and there's cages and stuff on the outside. And we walk in. It's got like this semi-pet shop sort of vibe, but it is a rescue, and you can hear all the noise. You're overwhelmed straight away. And anyway, we walked in. We're like, right, we're gonna have a look through. And I walked in this door, boom, overwhelmed by all these birds. And I swear to God, right, I put 2 steps forward, and this little bird come to the front of the cage and started tweeting at us. So I stuck my finger through the cage, and anyway, it took to us straight away. I went, I'm taking that bird home. I literally took that home, and then literally it started from there. And then I started basically volunteering there and raising funds and doing clean and rehabilitating them and finding them homes, to the point where I got experienced with them. People started knowing who I was in the bird world. And then we connected up with a free flight community where we decided that, if you're going to keep birds of this size and this nature, but it's incredibly unfair to keep them indoors and caged. So we all got together and decided show people like you can keep them a different way. So yeah, we decided to free fly macaws and all kinds of other birds and made a bit of a movement out of it.
Bro, that video is absolutely spectacular that I saw the other week. Oh my God. So have you got a blue macaw, right? Is that what you got, blue macaw? I've
got a blue and gold, yeah.
I think I told you I grew up with my uncle who had African grey, but they're moody bastards, aren't they?
They are incredible. They're called smiling assassins because you stick your finger in the cage, they've got one of the worst bites as well. They will take your finger and flesh and bone clean off.
They can also pick any lock that you put on as well. My uncle, the only lock that would work was one of those like massive chunky circular locks that he couldn't get like the beak over, because he used to like just flip the lock up like that, put the beak in and bang, 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 and open it straight away, dude. I mean, like every lock he put on.
Yeah, there's been times I've went in and basically they've unbolted the cage from the inside. They've unscrewed the nuts and the bolts. I don't know how they've done it, but they've literally completely unfastened. I'm talking 7-foot side panels here. Big, heavy steel.
Beak like a screwdriver. What?
I'm not even kidding. They completely. I've had them completely dismantle cages from the inside while they were in them. But anyway, yeah, that's the parrots.
You need to get a camera. Like, just leave it. Just. I'd love to watch how they're doing it.
No, I'd pay for that. I'd subscribe, man, to watch that stuff. Like I'm telling you.
Let's be honest, Robo. I'm sure there's a lot that you wouldn't subscribe to, mate.
I love watching. I watch Chicken City all the time. Tim Pool's Chicken City. Just watch what the chicken's behaviour. Anyway, guys, we're being joined by the woman of the moment. Oh, I tell you what, she's making waves. This woman. Good morning, Bbandz. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. If there's any ladies here, which I don't think so. So good morning, everybody. How is everybody doing this amazing morning? My DMs are blowing up this morning, man.
Are they? In a good way? In a good way?
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's good. Friendly advice. Sometimes I don't know if it's friendly.
Can you please elaborate? That sounds very juicy and interesting.
No, I'm not the person. I don't like doing that to people. It's all right. But it was definitely.
She doesn't listen.
That's interesting.
She doesn't listen to anything, man. She listens to herself and her husband. That's any advice Bbandz takes, man. She doesn't need anyone. Friendly in air quotes, right, Bbandz? Anyway, Bbandz. I know, she's an absolute cold-hearted killer, this one, man. Bbandz, Cheqd. sovereign identity and all of this? Are you into it very much? Because obviously we know all about the game that you're going to be releasing and stuff. Have you been looking into Cheqd? What's the story, Morning Glory?
Well, actually, I didn't know that Cheqd was doing something, releasing something. I don't know if they're talking about it yet. So I'm actually looking into that, and I'm very interested. So
have you not been on the road?
I haven't dug deep, but I'm definitely interested in the Cheqd. You sent me a message. We already talked, so it's all good.
The 2023 roadmap is absolutely insane. I just looked at it and I'm like, Jesus Christ, if these fellas hit these like targets, they are like shipping for absolute days, man. It's insane, that.
Yeah,
what was that, Fraser?
I'm hopping in and looking all that stuff.
Oh, it's kind. No, it's been hectic already, but I think it's weird. Like the end of last year was a bit of a slog because we upgraded to like 46 on the SDK, and it was an absolute pain in the arse. It took us way longer than we thought it would, and then it just meant that the start of this year has just been rampant. It's just been one thing after another, and it feels like it hasn't stopped. Really, really cool. And now we're starting to see other people like helping like build with us, which makes all the difference. So part of the reason there's so much on that roadmap is like it's not just our team; it's a bunch of other people that we're working with, all pulling it together, and it's only getting bigger. So it's hopefully it's
I saw the collaborations, with like the latest stuff with the creds and that,
and like Animo and a few other bits and pieces. Like it's all like, and there's I ran into I was trying to catch them for a couple of days. Monarchy, who were at this conference as well, and like I hadn't realised that they built a load of stuff that we weren't even aware of. Like it's on my list to drop Ross and Toby a note to be like, guys, like, do you know that they built us into one of their demos and like they've got something coming live in the next couple of months? And like I had no idea. Like I had not a clue. And so they're like, oh shit, we need to like do some webinars, do some like share out what they're up to, because it's really cool. Just no one knows about it. And I mean, to be fair, until like yesterday, neither did I.
Bbandz, you got your hand up. Go on. I'm going to do like a little intro. You go first, though.
I'm very, very interested in this portable reputation thing. I want to understand like how it's going to be, because you know how they have that proof of personhood that WorldCoin is doing. It's like a person passport. Is this kind of like a similar thing, but on Cosmos chain? If you can like kind of talk about that, I'm very, very curious.
Yeah, more than happy to. So I think the big difference is WorldCoin's a bit terrifying and dystopian. So it's basically writing everything onto the ledger, onto the chain. But they're also like, I don't know if you've seen, they've been going around the world scanning people's eyeballs to like get their identity and then writing it onto a network. Which is all sorts
because they want your biometrics so that, anyways.
Yeah. So, I mean, basically they just like end up holding all this data themselves, which is just like a nightmare. Whereas the way that we're building is like you get to control all the data. It's with you. So like, I mean, we'll fire a link to the beta that's coming out soon, but basically like we as a project can issue you a load of credentials. I wouldn't be surprised if like RAC FM ends up issuing some credentials for stuff as well. And they could be anything from like identity stuff to like social handles to tickets to AMAs to like POAPs, all sorts of stuff. And then you decide what you like take, but also what you can share onto other people. So that you'll be able to say like, oh, I'll take these credentials and then I'll share like different ones to different people. So Matt, if you can do it in the background, like we can share 2 links and like Matt would be able to show you completely, or maybe Eduardo, we can share like different credentials to different people. And so like you could present yourself in one way to someone and then a completely different way to another person. And so that way, like it's super private up until the point where you don't want it to be. No one can really link you if you're presenting your like different stuff to different people. But you can combine all these like different credentials and POAPs and stuff from different places. And the idea is over time, it'll almost become like a decentralized reputation where like you can just post and share whatever you want to different people. So it's not like there's like one score or anything. You can just share whatever you want to those different people and present yourself however you want to be. And the final thing is like some of it you could do it without any like identity data. So you could do it without like a passport or driving license. You could literally just do it based on like your Twitter handle, and then maybe like some stuff off Discord, and then whatever else you want. And part of what we're finding quite fun at the moment is we're doing loads and loads of user interviews to be like, what credentials would you want to issue? Like, what do you think is interesting, and what would you want to have yourself? So we'll fire you the link over, but it's been it's been really interesting to see like how people are like reacting to it, the stuff they want to use it for, because some of them we just didn't even know, like, and people are thinking about it in a way that we just never had any idea. So it's been really, really cool. So I realized that was me rambling for a long time, but I hope that helps. Kind of what it is.
No, you're not rambling. I did have one last thing real quick. It's not, rambling is when once you like pass the like 3 to 4 minute mark, then I feel like it's considered rambling, because like I swear to God, I'd be watching people talk and I'm looking at my clock and I'm like, okay, let's see, like I'm gonna see when I start losing interest. And I found that it's at the 3 to 4 minute mark, but you're good. Listen, I have a question. Wait a minute. I got it. All right. So my question is, how many points of identity are used? Like, identity points are attached to this digital ID, I guess, or this, like, okay. So like, give you an example. Polygon has their digital ID, and there's supposed to be about 10,000 different points of, identification that they can use or some shit like that. Sorry for cursing.
Yeah. Interesting.
How does that work for Cheqd?
Yeah, I think for us, I mean, there's not really a limit, because it's just going to be like collect. Theoretically, it's infinite, because people could just issue credentials for all sorts of stuff, and you can collect them and then share them on in a separate way. So, like, it really depends on what you collect and what you decide to share. So there's not really like a number attached to it. I'd say it's unlimited. It's all about like what you want to share at any one time, which is kind of why we love it so much. It's not like you have a profile and that's your profile. It's more like you decide what goes in there, and you can change that on a daily basis, or even change it between people. But I would say there's really a number that's attached to it. It's theoretically unlimited and infinite, because like anyone and any project can issue credentials, and then you can just decide what you share. So it's maybe it works in a different way, but that's the way I'm thinking about it. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much. Robo, now you may speak.
No, we did invite Eduardo up. I mean, if he does want to jump in, man, by all means. I know Bruce has put in the title with Fraser and Matt, but of course, dude, jump in by all means if you are free or anything like that, Brucey, come on, I know. Oh, well, it was straight into the tech. I mean, I was going to ask these guys like how they first met each other and that, and just like, get a little bit of crack going, set the tone a little bit before you aped in with your like technical ninja fucking stars. I mean,
calm down.
Saying like, oh, this is a serious show. Why are you coming up here with the crack? Okay, so I took the crack away, and now like I was serious, and I'm still getting yelled at. Like, there's just no pleasing you, Robo. There's just
I'm joking, man. I'm joking. That 20-minute crack that we had with your woman the other night before we started, and then it was me. I was like, right, can we get out of business? Can we get serious? That was amazing. That right. Quickly though, very quickly, Matt and Fraser. Did you two guys just meet through Cheqd, or did you know each other before the project?
Actually through Cheqd. So despite growing up like really, really close to each other, it was through Cheqd. So Matt, this is more your story than mine, because you've I obviously know kind of how we met, but you've got a lot more history surrounding it in terms of like what you've been up to in terms of like Web3 communities, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I actually started moderating with a marketing agency for a few different projects across different ecosystems, and one of them I found I was chucked into was Cheqd. It was a bit overwhelming because it's quite technically challenging if you're not familiar with what SSI is. But I don't know, I just took to it and I just got it immediately. And I felt like I was getting on well with the team. Fraser, the rest of the team, my man Eduardo down there, who, by the way, he says he's on his PC, but really he's just a little bit shy, aren't you, mate? Anyway, I got started with Cheqd, and once I got it, I realised that it was actually going to solve a lot of real world problems, because I've got a background in tech, IT, security and stuff. And I immediately thought, like, this could genuinely solve so many problems that most people are faced with on a day-to-day basis, with things like impersonation and scams. And anyway, the job advert went out, and I was just like, this has got my name all over it. So I thought at the time. Anyway, I applied, and unfortunately for these guys, they're now stuck with me.
No, definitely not stuck with you. It's like, we're so lucky, honestly. Like, I'm gonna give him some big reps here, but like,
Can I just say, Fraser, before you do, I just want to say about Matt, right? You can take like the man out of Sunderland, but you can't take the Sunderland out the man. Do you know what I mean? He's like so articulate and passionate, and you hear him, and then he's like chucked out, you know? Like, chucked it out. Like, oh, I love it, dude. I love it.
No, I completely agree. And so the thing I was going to say about him is, so like the thing that stood out and still stands out about him is, like, I don't know any other community manager who understands their project as well as Matt does. Like, every time I'm like interacting with other community managers, like, they just like operating off an FAQ, or like they've got some like just some answers that they stock use, and they just generally chuck out some like generic stuff. And like, they've got an okay-ish understanding of like what their project does, but like the level Matt's got to is just nuts. Like the questions you're able to answer versus like, especially on something like SSI and decentralized IE, where it's like super technical. It's just awesome.
But also, like, Fraser, also add to that, right? The very fact that it is like a community manager is a right old stressful fucking job to start with. I mean, bro, that has to be like one of the toughest jobs on a team. That, I mean, if you're coding up, building whatever, you know, maybe you like remote or whatever, but like, you know, you haven't got people like on your case like 24/7. When you're a community manager, it's like you have to answer to everything that anybody wants to like moan or complain about, or it's like it's a plethora of jobs. It's not just one thing. It's like several things, isn't it? Like,
I totally agree. It's also a little bit like it's almost like being a customer. Well, I mean, part of it is being like that customer support agent, which is no wonder like Matt's so good at it being from Sunderland, because you know, like half of the the customer support centres in the UK are either in like Swansea or they're in the northeast, because just like the northeast sounds so friendly that you can't get angry at them.
Correct, yeah. He's totally right, isn't he? That's what they did. They came and built like how many call, like everything came, man. T-Mobile, the fucking lot. Everybody, Orange, everybody built the fucking call centres up our way. We just have some crack, like, you know? I mean, that's why. Go on.
No, I was just going to agree with you. Like, and the other one was in Scouserland, like putting them all up in Liverpool for exactly the same reason. Like, how can you get angry at a Scouser over the phone unless you've literally just watched them steal your car?
Give us, all right, lads. Give us your best. Come on, since you're British, and this is the crack factory tonight.
Can't do it.
And you're not doing Scouser?
I can't.
Where, mate? Go ahead. Oh, come on, Matt.
You're right, boys and girls. Can I take your credit card details, please?
Oh, that wasn't bad, that. Hey, lad, come here, lad. That wasn't fucking too bad. Dude, you know something? I guessed this woman's accent the other day. You're not going to believe this. Like, I felt like a player if I was going to say Zimbabwe, right? Because she had a South African twang, but it wasn't South African, so I knew it was close. And obviously, like, knowing what she like looks like, blah, 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 I kind of guessed Zimbabwe, but I was like, well, if you say that, like, people's going to think you're an idiot. So I was like, it sounds like South African, but, you know, it's like Zimbabwean, but maybe, I don't know, maybe one parent, and then you live there a bit and, like, left. And she's like, dude, I was born in Zimbabwe, moved to South Africa, and then, like, during uni, moved to the States, and I've been here ever since. And I was like, I nailed it.
Listen, that was good. I'm not gonna doubt and say that it was good. But Robo, I'm gonna have to one up you on that. And the
here it comes.
because I guessed her parents' country. Cuckoo.
You did actually, and you know what though? That was because
I
we
was like,
thought
you're
that
Welsh, right? I was like, I was thinking you were Welsh or something. She's like, yeah, my parents are Welsh. Boom, mic drop.
she had literally no Welsh in her.
Molecular level, like DNA.
She had no Welsh in her whatsoever. That was like the biggest stab in the dark, like you can ever imagine. Like, see, a lot of those white people in Zimbabwe and North South Africa. No. A lot of the white people are from Wales, Scotland. You wouldn't believe how many like Scottish descendants. So my mate, like Durban, who I met, like good kid here teaching, his parents are Scottish. Like there's loads of Scottish and Welsh in that particular area, like Durban, going up into like Zimbabwe and stuff, right? Bbandz
But I didn't know that
me.
when I was thinking that she was Welsh.
I know you're rugging me. You're rugging me big time.
I went on the molecular level. I think we gotta go on to another subject because I'm just gonna have to keep one up.
Can we get back to Cheqd, mate? Oh, did you hear? I've been waiting all night for that. Can we get back to Cheqd, mate? Aha, Bbandz. Right, what's up, Brucey? Let's let Brucey take the stage. Come on, because you know he's gonna talk about meditation.
I was just thinking how fucking whack that pun was, bro.
Bro, I've been all week. I've been like, how do we get Checkmate in there? How do we do it? I'm just waiting. That was for Joe. That's for the dads, man. That's not for you, young bloody single whippersnappers. Come on, then, Brucey. You got some grilling. You got your.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I've got a question though. I just want to ask Matt and Fraser if they knew or if they know what kind of doctor Dr. Pepper is.
Doctor who?
Dr. Pepper. You know Dr. Pepper.
Oh, the drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of doctor?
I don't know. Are you asking me to guess, or are you asking if I know who he is?
Dude,
you just guess. Shut up, Robo. Shut up, Robo. I'm doing a thing here. You said take the stage. I'm taking it.
He's a heart surgeon.
Yeah, he's a heart surgeon. Thank you, Fraser. He's a heart surgeon. Yeah.
Oh, nice try. No, but he's a physician.
Oh, hell. We need to get Matt. We need to get Alex on. This is like Alex's like wet dream. This is everything that Alex lives for.
He's here. There he is. Get him up, Alex. Have you got your microphone with you, mate?
I've sent him an invite. Yeah.
Okay, when it comes up, Alex, if you come up, I got another one. Little treat for you.
Bruce, did you like that joke the other day about the butter? Yeah, that was hilarious, right?
Which one, bro? You keep asking me about if I remember something, and I fucking always never remember.
That's right. I didn't tell you because you would fucking spread it all over.
Yeah.
Right, so I just joined. I heard none of the context, and then I just heard Fraser absolutely gossiping about me. So I literally joined the second Fraser was saying, "Oh, this is Alex's wet dream."
It was just puns everywhere, puns and dad jokes.
Oh,
everywhere.
I'm in the right place.
Okay, Alex. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? So, Alex, did you know that there's more airplanes in the sea than there are submarines in the air? It's plain to see.
Oh, that's awful, but I love it.
They're so bad.
Bro, it doesn't get any better than him, man, on mushrooms on a space, talking about swimming up the fucking canal naked past Parliament last week on a fucking space. Like, I'm like, even Bbandz was like, whoa, Bruce, you need to slow down a little bit. Like,
what? Okay, right. No, we need more details.
He swims naked. In Copenhagen, he swims naked up the canal past the Parliament. Oh, look who's joined us. Look who's we've been blessed in the room by Terra Spaces, the last remaining member of the gang.
I just need to appreciate this moment because Finn is always haunting us for the scheduled spaces so he can put it in his little calendar so his little butt can join, right? And we put it in the calendar I scheduled this fucking space a week before, man. Unheard of on regular.
You sound angry as fuck. You sound angry as fuck right now, Bruce.
And then he comes. I'm just happy. I just appreciate this little moment, man. He came late. We scheduled it.
41 minutes. Bruce, you've got like grief material for fucking 2 weeks over Terra Spaces right now. I'm going to leave the Discord, me. Right out. We've got Alex up here. I mean, dude, we've got 3. Come on then, Brucey. And now you've been... I mean, you spent 24 hours researching like Vanessa and got a bloody postcode. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with these boys.
That wasn't weird at all.
That was extremely weird. He's like, I spent about the last 2 hours researching your entire life.
It was like, you seem to be contradicting something you posted on your LinkedIn. I was like, let the lady live, bro.
Oh, that was ridiculous. Bruce didn't do that tonight, I'm telling you. Didn't fucking shut us down because we're already on the borderline. We're getting cancelled, so come on. Now, man, Bruce, what you been digging around in? What you got for the boys? By the way, welcome, Alec.
So I've actually been very sweet with the boys because I had some stuff for the other space where we got into something about the regulations and the emerging market of that is digital identity. And I've been thinking about like how big is your team, like, and how many lawyers are you in contact with on a like regular basis?
Fuck, guys, you volunteer to come on the Friday show. This is what you're gonna fucking get.
No, it's all good. So I mean, the good thing is, Mr. Tweeddale actually studied law for a start, but also his like speciality was SSI, like literally at university. He's probably one of the few people that I know that was like, even years ago, was like early into SSI and like studying it whilst at university. So the really good thing on the data side of things is like, I mean, basically Alex has just read a lot of the regulations in the first place. And so they're pretty like unambiguous. So you just need to follow what they say. And there's a load of like specs and guidelines on like stuff you should do and stuff you shouldn't do. So you don't need like, until you start doing some dodgy stuff, which we're not, like you don't really need to go for the lawyers for the data stuff because it's just there in black and white. Alex, I don't know if there's anything more you want to add to that. I assume so.
No, I think a lot of the time actually, like, because some of this identity stuff is so new, you go and speak to a lawyer about decentralized identity, and often they just have no idea what's going on. You kind of need to have a sort of core understanding of the technology and then sort of how it affects data protection stuff to really be able to square the two. As Fraser mentioned, I wrote my sort of master's thesis on SSI, but also how it sort of interacts with the GDPR. And from that, I've been in some pretty crazy conversations. Like I've written a paper on basically decentralized identity and the GDPR with like literally EU like stakeholders. I've advised like organizations like Sovereign on like how they should be sort of putting like decentralized identifiers on chain and whether that should represent a legal entity or a person. So yeah, it's like there are regulations out there, and like the new EIDAS 2.0 regulation is going to be a bit of a game changer because that literally brings decentralized identity into the law. But aside from that, it's just kind of going about it in a sensible way and thinking, okay, if we're actually taking back control of our data, then this does align with the sort of principles of things like the GDPR. So yeah, in terms of actually speaking to lawyers, it's not so much. It's more just the actual technology that we're building actually fits a lot of the law better than companies stealing all your data behind your back.
He's too humble. You're too humble, Alex, aren't you?
I just want to, Alex, first of all, wow, bro, impressive, really, really, really impressive, man. I understand why Fraser and Matt, they let you do anything in the company, man. Fraser and Matt, I just want to say something. Hold on, Robo. I just want to say something to Fraser and Matt. You are two sneaky little rat people. You didn't tell me about Alex, man. You gave me no chance here. You just brought him. Oh, I see Alex down there, man. Let's bring up our secret weapons.
Hang on.
You little fuckers.
No. If actually, I'm just going to throw that one right back at you. Do you remember, Robo, when I said have you got a set of questions just so we can be primed in advance? And then you were like, what are you screening us? There you go, Bruceman. I've just thrown it right back at you, brother.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I fucking love it, man.
If you hadn't been doing all the puns and dad jokes, we wouldn't have even invited Alex up. So you basically screwed yourself there.
Oh, I love these guys, man. Oh, fucking hell, man. Fraser, Matt, we're gonna see each other in Thailand in the next year, man. We're gonna go sparring. Let's
Bruce,
go.
we promised them RAC FM, and we're giving them RAC FM, right? When you come on the show, everyone knows what you sign up for. And honestly, dude, he just schooled you there, like absolute humble pie you're eating tomorrow, dude. When you're coming up after them.
Yeah, we're not wrong about that. But I'm a hungry boy, man, and I'm a raccoon, so what you call garbage, I call fucking bread and butter.
I'm looking at Check Me, and I'm thinking, wait a minute. Isn't this like pure like DAO integration? Like, isn't this?
Oh! Before I have more questions for Alex.
Go on.
Hey.
Yeah. So Alex, bro, you're really smart. You wrote a PhD and all that, man. That is impressive work. So what obstacles are you preparing for, or like what challenges are you preparing for in the future?
I think it's almost like what we've experienced as we're speaking to enterprise clients, that lawyers in particular can be particularly like pernickety when it comes to this type of technology. So it's almost convincing the lawyers that what we're actually doing is in line with the law, but B, in line with where the law is going, and C, makes everyone's life easier. So as a blocker, I think understanding that the old law isn't necessarily going to dictate the future, and that there is new law being written, and we need to future-proof ourselves for that change, and getting people on board with that kind of notion. I think that's one of the big challenges for me. Other than that, I think it's just education. Like, we've been building in this space for a while. We've been in Cosmos for a while. And I think it's only starting to seep through like what decentralized or self-sovereign identity actually is. So for me, just getting general people, just jumping into more spaces, getting the word out of like what this technology can actually enable, and sort of debunking why it's not a good idea to do this with things like NFTs, and why it's a better idea to do it with verifiable credentials is also something I think which is going to be a challenge. Like, I've seen really bad approaches to decentralized identity, which do not protect user privacy, which do not have data protection in mind. And it's approaches like that which will turn enterprise clients and sort of bigger, the sort of like real world adoption away from this type of technology. So it's, education, steering people in the right direction, and just like convincing people that there is law coming in this space and we need to build towards it.
So you went from having a PhD to basically becoming an influencer.
Yeah, that's all everyone is in this space, though. It's just kind of educating people around the potential of the technology and kind of influencing in that kind of general direction. If you're not an influencer, you're not doing it right.
Oh man, this guy, you can't rock his boat, man. He's so cool, Alex. Bro, you're so cool.
Oh, the thing you can't see on Twitter Spaces either is it's a Friday, and Alex, have you got one of your Friday shirts on?
Oh no, I don't. But I should. I should bring it back. We need to bring it back.
You came in this space like Don and Jacob shirtless, or what?
Wait a minute. What's a shirt? What is? Can anybody tell me what a shirt is? Like, I live in Bangkok, Thailand. What's a shirt? I mean, come on.
Oh, so you're just 24/7 wife beating, just always in the wife.
No, he doesn't wear a shirt. He has his like Yakuza tattoo on his on his stomach, and that's his shirt, the tattoo.
Hey, I've got to say, what a cracking show. I mean, I'm not going to reset the room. I can see a couple of people just jump in, blah, blah. What a cracking conversation. Brucey, I mean, I do want to figure out where Cheqd and DAOs fit in, right? And where that like DAO participation kind of thing is going to like be able to create this identity or that you commits or whatever it is. Guys, you know, something that bugs me. Like, like a non-teams, you know, have to build up like a reputation, right? We talked about this the other week, yeah. Obviously, when we came on your show, right? This is the kind of thing that, like, I'm just thinking about, like, okay, you can be in a DAO and you can be anonymous for, like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years or something, but, like, who's counting all your votes or who's doing this or what's... Do you know what I mean? Like, who's collecting this data?
It's actually something that we reckon... like, this is one of the things we want to explore. So, like, when we get the beta out to you and you see how it works, we're really curious on, like, the kind of things you want to issue as part of the DAO, because, like, I can think of a load of stuff, and most of it's related to what you just said there, on, like, staying completely anon or, like, pseudonymous at least, and then still having a reputation that you can use to prove that you've done something. So we were thinking, like...
So, Fraser, reputation, how do you describe it? How do you define reputation? Because at the minute, and this was after the DAO space, I think I told you guys the other week, at the minute, the way that it's working, if we look at like blockchain and the terminology that we've got, if you could take proof of participation plus proof of contribution, what was the other one, Bruce? We fucking came up with the other night. We came up with another one the other night. Or proof of ownership, sorry. So, like, obviously, like, whatever it is that you've, like, bought into or invested in or something. So, like, that proof of ownership, yeah. Proof of participation, which would be your governance, etc. And then your proof of contribution that could be actually, like, writing governance proposals. Because the two things are a little bit different, right? Like, yeah, man, do tell me more. I'm all ears about this stuff, like.
It's really cool. So I think, like, one of the credentials you'll see in there is, and this is, like, dummied up at the moment, but there's, like, a Cheqd whale credential. And the idea there is, like, you wouldn't even need to expose, like, your actual wallet or your address, but we could do a check, or the project could do a check on, like, the wallet, and then issue a credential as long as it's over a certain size and define what that size is. So you could do, like, proof of ownership. So you could prove that you own, like, a raccoon without ever exposing, like, which one it is. And obviously that's probably backwards in the way that you want to be doing stuff, because, like, everyone wants to flex, right? But, like, if you want to hide some stuff, but you want to prove ownership, like, you can. But I think some of the other stuff that's going to be really interesting is, like, just so, like, if you're doing stuff on, like, Crew 3 or Zeely or in the DAO, like, if you're a person who's answering questions all the time and you keep on getting given points by, like Matt inside our community, like, giving points out to people, that you should be able to go and show that somewhere else without that person having to go into that community to check what your, like, reputation is. So what we were looking at, like, be able to take stuff like Crew 3 or Zeely, like, reputation, where you've got, like, XP points and rank, and be able to show that from one project to another. So you could go from, like, Cheqd and be like, I can prove I'm an ambassador and a mod, and that I've been in this community for, like, 2 years now, and I can go and show that off to someone else, stay completely, like, pseudonymous still, so no one knows who I am, but I can prove I've done all this stuff. And then I think, Alex, you've been thinking about, like, maybe how this might work as something like Commonwealth or maybe DAO, where, like, you could...
Don't mention Commonwealth. Oh, please don't mention Commonwealth. Honestly, I jumped about the chair then. I nearly cried. Didn't mention that thing.
But basically,
he's going through counseling right now to help him with the PTSD with Commonwealth. Once he's gotten over this hump, we can talk about it again.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. But maybe you need some of bruceman's shrooms. Just give it out a bit. But this is probably more one for Alex, but we've been thinking about, like, could you use this for, like, voting, where you get rid of all the symbols and it's not based on, like, stake at all. It's all based on, like, individual. You could even make it, like, above a certain contribution. So, like, if you're, like, you've got levels of voting and you can only vote if you've been in the community, or, like, you've achieved a certain level, if you've contributed, like, enough. And then that allows you to vote, but it's still one person, one vote. And then you've got separately, like, just take it away from stake. So, Alex, this is probably more for you, because this is definitely, like, you've thought about this way more than I have.
So, I was going to say, something I think that's very important, guys. I just want to put this in, Alex, preface this a little bit. You know, in real life, what we're witnessing now is we're seeing the advent of, like, social credit scores.
And I think this terrifies like people across the world, and therefore, you know, people are escaping to like what they think is blockchain anonymity, etc. Like what you guys are doing is very far from like a social credit score, right?
Can I take this one?
Yeah, go on, Matt.
Right,
Of course.
okay. Yeah, so we're well aware that people have their eyes on various different things, but this is not like a social credit score, because Cheqd isn't actually keeping tabs on any of your reputation. We're basically providing the tools. And just to add some more context from Fraser's last answer to your question, how does it work in the case of a DAO? It would mean that you would register yourself as an issuer, and it would actually be you guys, let's say the RAC FM core account or the primary holder over the DAO, would issue credentials to people that they trust, so they themselves are recognizing their reputation. It's not that Cheqd are coming in and saying, right, okay, we're going to let you use creds and we'll keep track of all of that reputation for you. That's got nothing to do with us. We will not hold that data. You will have your own community and your own community trust, whereby you will issue the credentials, whether it's for contributions, whether it's for governance votes, whether it's for taking part in conversations. Somebody who absolutely smashes the really good proposals out, that will be down to the owners of the DAOs to issue that reputation to somebody who is either anonymous or, as Fraser said, pseudonymous. So this is absolutely nothing to do with social credit scores, but we won't go too far down that road.
Yeah,
that's all. Did you see how I got that answer, guys? That's how we roll on this show. Did you see the answer we pulled out there? Dynamite. Sorry, fellas. Go on.
I also think something, just quickly, Fraser. I also think something really important to understand here is that verifiable credentials, where your actual data is going to be held, is not on chain. It's off chain. It's held by you in your own identity wallet. So there's no way anyone can surveil where you're using or sharing your data, because you're the one that's controlling it and it's not on chain. So when we talk about social credit scores, the biggest problem there is, it's, accessing things with a particular score, but it's also that mass surveillance and being able to check where your data is being used and who's using what where. Decentralized and self-sovereign identity is the opposite of that. It's just providing you the tools to share a level of trust in one particular interaction with another individual or entity. There's no surveillance, and importantly, there is no score gating. You don't need to have a certain score to enter a particular group or anything. You just need to provide the requisite attributes for that particular interaction. And you might have tons and tons of attributes and credentials. You just need to provide the appropriate credentials for that verifier to be able to trust you. And that's all that we're building. Fraser, do you want to add to that as well?
Just like a tangible example. So I don't know if Eduardo's managed to do it on Matt, but basically I've got 2 links on the beta that we've got on the demo. And basically each link has different credentials in it. And that kind of shows the power of it, where I can decide what I share with who. And then what we'll have in the future is the ability to break that link. So even if someone's got the link, it will just die. So at that point, you can show different people completely different stuff. So I could interact with Alex in a certain context and share him some credentials, and it might be using my Discord handle, and then I might say interact with Robo using my Telegram or my Twitter, and he's technically got nothing to link those 2 things together. Now, obviously, I'm doxed, so it's obvious, but for people where they have got multiple identities that are separate, they will be able to keep those separate and show them off a different way. So I think that there's a practical demonstration already of that ability to keep it all private and tailor it to whatever you need. And I think that's the biggest thing for us is walking the talk. I think that's it.
Yeah, the other thing is as well is sorry, Fraser. Sorry, I thought you were finished. Continue.
No, I am. I'm done.
Bruceman, if you just quickly check Telegram.
We call it, dude. You know what we call it though? We call it the RAC FM sniff test. We're always just going to ask what we want, and just do what we want. Honestly, you guys tonight up here, Bruce, Bbandz, absolute legends. These 3, right? I love them to bits. Honestly, they're cracking.
You'll not get now past those unanswered, believe me.
I knew that, dude. Listen, we've been wanting to line this up, man, for weeks. And even after when we popped on the show and had a bit of crack, and I honestly appreciate the feedback. It's next door's just got a takeaway. The feedback for Bruce was insane. I will say, guys, we do have a part-time host, guys, a part-time pundit that comes in when he likes. He's out there in the tropics living his life as well. I did send him a speaker invite because we're a man down. And if he's come in, it's probably because it's really relevant. So I just want to say hello, Bruce, before you continue your questioning. And we'll let Soy hit the boys up. But hello, Soy. Thank you for coming in here today on an important space.
How are we doing, guys? Yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy week for Neutron and stuff. So I've not really been around too much. But yeah, obviously got your little invite to speak. So not spoke to you guys in a while. So I thought I'd come and say hello. So
hello, Soy.
Hello.
How you doing, Soy? You good?
How are we doing? Is that Matt?
It is, mate. Yes, it's me indeed. Hiding behind the Cheqd logo. I was just going to say, Bruceman, if you can get them things whacked in the nest off Eduardo and at the bottom of the Twitter Spaces. Sorry, just was going to throw that in there.
If you look in the nest, my brother.
Yeah, I was just saying it pop up there. I was going to mention. Thank you. There's some others there, and there's also a link that Fraser mentioned. There's one that Fraser mentioned.
I'll tell you what, Matt, if you're not getting a pay rise after tonight, someone's going to come after you. I bet you're going to be getting hit up tomorrow, mind. I'm telling you, when people start listening back to this space, like, listen to this fella. Who's this fella? Let's get out. Tell you, Fraser, Alex, you want to be careful. People will be hitting your man up, you know.
Matt, what I've just remembered, though, is you've got a dirty secret for a Sunderland lad. Am I okay telling Robo?
Oh yeah, I'd rinse you any way I can, Fraser. So go for it, Ribbit.
I'd rinse, yeah.
So Robert, I don't like. You'll know what this is, but Matt has never had a Palmo, never, and he claims he's from the northeast.
Bro, I'm just gonna say something. When it comes to Palmos, like. Hey, I mean, it's not my fault I wasn't born in Middlesbrough. Like, what do you want me to do? I mean, do you think dude, what are you talking about? I've never had a Palmo in my life, bro. What are you talking about? Come on. Give over,
Fraser. Backfired.
Bro, really wrecked. Well, where's he from? Sutton Coldfield or something? I mean, where's your man from? Where'd you find him, Matt?
Everybody's a Palmo, man. I thought I was just the minority. I actually thought you were going to side with Fraser there and absolutely rib me, but yeah. Yes.
What's that place called?
Fly back from the US. Like I thought it was just a thing now.
What? You've infected everybody, haven't you? Not, you don't infect, but infest. That's what it is. Wait a minute, though, Fraser. You know where I thought you were from? What's the posh place called again, man, where Tall Trees is? What's it called again?
Oh, yeah.
Begins with a W, right? What's it called again? I can't remember the fucking name of it.
Yarm.
I thought it was
No, it's up from Yarm. North of Yarm. Begins with W, right? Tall Trees, right?
Ooh.
Tall Yarm, is it? So, Fraser, I have to ask. I mean, I didn't know if you want to say it, but where are you actually from, Fraser? Where were you born?
Yeah, no worries. So just south of Durham. So actually just around like the Sedgefield area. So I don't know if you've been down that way, but around there.
Yeah, of course. I know Sedgefield really well.
Yeah.
Racecourse.
Yeah.
Sedgefield Racecourse.
Yeah,
I was years old. I had a stall down there selling. I was 10 years old.
I bought something off it.
Dude, I was 10 years old and I used to go around with my uncle who was a market man on the weekend. Dude, I had stalls everywhere, man. Chesley Street, Bishop Auckland, what's it called again? Fucking, so Sedgefield Racecourse, obviously. Like, dude, I just used to fucking be a little like buyer and seller when I was a kid, like a proper little market fella at like 10 years old. Proper little grafter.
Good. I was speaking to someone, it was, so I saw out at a conference and, we were talking. I can't remember how it came up, but we're talking about like when we both decided like that we'd want to start a company, and his was like he was taking. I'm going to use a word that no one else apart from you two are going to recognise, but he was taking Ket into school, and then like selling it on lunchtimes, and like obviously everyone's bringing their money in to buy school dinners and stuff, and he's just selling them sweets on a lunchtime. And that was his story of like how he decided he wanted to become and like go and start a company and stuff was sneaking loads of sweets into school and then just selling them on the side.
People don't realise though, like the Northeast, man, how fucking rough it actually is, like, and like how it's the most like kind of like under privileged like area of like the UK, kind of essentially like it's weird how like the southwest, like Bristol and that, is like pretty much like I get along with Bristol kids really well. I don't know about you guys, like I feel a bit of a kinship with the Bristol boys. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I always went to uni there, and
I did go to uni there.
There we go. Oh,
Did you both went to Bristol? No way.
No, Ross and I, Fraser, both went to Bristol.
Oh, holy shit! Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
So, Alex, ask about unis. I mean, you obviously mentioned like the masters and the PhD and that. And I mean, I love this shit. I mean, I work in education, right? I'm a teacher, believe it or not. I'm not a player. Bro, can I ask you? I mean, you might not want to mention, but it's on your LinkedIn or something. What unis did you go to? Because I bet they were like.
Yeah, so I went to Uni of Bristol and did law. And then I moved to the Netherlands and I did a degree in law and like a master's degree in law and digital technologies at Leiden University, which is also really good for law. Would fucking recommend going to Leiden. Really cool place. It's kind of between Amsterdam and Rotterdam and Utrecht. So you get sort of the best of all three cities, just like a quick train away. So yeah, if you ever want a quick getaway to a nice like quaint Dutch place, surrounded by big sessions, Leiden's the place to go.
Can we have a wellness check on Bruce? Bruce, are you okay there? Are you still alive? You all right?
100% still alive, man. I was just waiting. I was just waiting for a little room where I could maybe ask Matt and Fraser about their product and
Alex
ask them about
CV. What? I didn't know if you'd fainted. Alex was going through his CV. I wasn't sure if you'd fainted or something. I'm just.
bro, you know I like them smart.
Right. Okay. I mean, Soy's here. He might have some like impertinent questions for Cheqd. I don't know if he has. Like, oh, you have just come up for some banter, or are you actually going to take part in the fucking show?
Are you just going to go completely over what I just said, man? That I wanted to.
Oh, dude, I didn't hear.
Okay, no worries. I just want to ask Matt and Fraser, what up, Bbandz?
Wait, what was it? Sorry, I didn't hear it properly.
No, I just saw Bbandz was about to unmute and say something.
Ah, okay, sorry.
No, I was just gonna make a suggestion to Robo. Robo, why don't you say something and give it like 5 seconds before you say something else? Because I think like there's like a little bit of a lag, and you're kind of talking over people, so you can't hear what they're saying. But I just wanted to give that little.
I'll jump out and back in. Okay, it might be the rule.
No, you don't have to do that. You just have to slow down. That's all. Don't leave. Just slow down.
And anyway, what I wanted to ask Matt and Fraser about is the product, creds.xyz, and the link, the tweet up in the nest, the first one. So what is that, guys? Is that the credentials of one of your team members?
Yeah, so that's mine. And what you should see, there's two. Yeah, so that link is basically to all my credentials, or at least the ones that I want to share. So I've been like obviously just roaming around conferences for the last like couple of weeks. So I've just been, whenever I meet someone new, just firing them a link, be like, oh, this is me, like this proves I work for Cheqd, and this, like with the consensus one, like I was firing that around to show like, oh, this is where we met, and just follow that up. And then we've got another link somewhere else where you can show like I can just give them a Discord name and the fact that I work for Cheqd. And obviously all these are coming from us right now. But then in the future, it's all going to be like anyone can start issuing these. So it could be like, oh, I've got like, here's my Discord handle. Here's the fact that I work for Cheqd. And then here's an AMA from RAC FM because because we have the spaces. And then like just add them all up over time and share them in a different place. So what you're seeing there is like the proofing or like the receiver side of the thing, and then separately in a couple of weeks we'll give you guys access to the beta where you can see like what it looks like to have these things yourself. And then in the background what we're working on is like how people can start issuing these things as projects. It's super easy. So yeah, I mean anyone can basically head onto that link. You can click in, see the credentials I've got, all that kind of stuff. And then also there's a sign up link there just for a general, like as the availability starts getting rolled out. Yeah, I mean, Matt or Alex, anything else you want to add in there, or are we waiting for Bruceman to like tell me a new one?
I've got something actually. I guess the first thing that might jump out at people is that it is literally just pictures on a page with a piece of text and a button that completes an action. So I guess maybe what would be interesting, Alex, if you want to fill them in on this one, because you do it far better than I can, is what is actually happening when we share an existing link or somebody else copies a link, which they can at the moment, and then they click verify on that credential.
So basically, there's a couple of layers to sort of understand here. There's the layer of what's happening on the Cheqd ledger, and then what's happening with the actual credential itself. So this is kind of, okay, let's do a bit of a rewind to how sort of credentials actually work and why they're verifiable. So the first piece I think that's really important to understand is what goes on the Cheqd ledger. So in this example that Fraser's shared, these credentials have all been issued by Cheqd. And what that means is that Cheqd as a company has basically what's like a signature that's anchored onto our blockchain. And when the credentials are issued to Fraser, the data itself is essentially cryptographically signed by the signature that is on the ledger. So Fraser then holds these credentials in his wallet, and when he shares the credentials with one of you guys or just posts his link and you click on verify, what that's doing is it's checking against the actual Cheqd ledger that the what's called a decentralized identifier or the signature is actually legitimate and it actually belongs to Cheqd. So that verification is saying it's doing a few things. It's verifying the signature of the DID. So saying, yeah, this actually is from Cheqd. It's a legitimate thing. It's also verifying that the contents of the credential is untampered, and also that the format that Fraser's presented is the same as the format that it was issued in. So that's called like a schema check. So there's a few checks going on in the background to basically guarantee that the credential that Fraser has shared is legitimate and untampered, so it has data integrity. That was a bit technical. Did that make sense, Matt?
That was bang on, mate, and it was way better than what I was going to say. But there goes your question, Robo, Bruceman, about how can people hack these and just present fake images from a web page that's a screenshot, because I know it's coming.
I love this kid, me. Like, honest to God, he's an absolute gem, isn't he? What a diamond you are, son. I tell you what. Oh, my goodness. Bbandz, I'm back. Man, I got hard rugged there. Bruce has just been rugged as well. Bbandz, what about your game? What these guys? What's going on with your game? Where, like, how would this fit in with you?
I mean, so the game that we're having doesn't require an NFT. It doesn't require like money to play or anything like that. It's kind of a hobby thing. And when you're creating your character, there is nothing but a 24-word like phrase that kind of saves your character for you. So I don't have we have nothing else attaching your character like an email or to your Discord or anything. So I think it would be cool to like integrate them both, but
I think it would be really cool to understand a bit more. It's like one thing we've been told by it's some like game developers is like they don't apport like IP or assets between games, but what they want is to allow like players to then flex outside of it, so be able to show like quests that they've done or achievements that they've done and show that outside. And that's something that we hadn't really thought about. I was talking about like all those examples where we hadn't really thought of examples, and people were telling us like, oh, you could do this, and we just hadn't thought of it. This was one where they were like, oh, it'd be really cool if you could like have like your social profile, and your social profile like includes the fact that like you've achieved a certain level in a certain game, or like you've done this quest, you've done this like achievement, you've got this asset. And basically be able to go and flex like outside of the game. So I'd be really curious on like if there's going to be like achievements, that kind of thing in there that people could then go and like bring outside, because I think that's one of the things where like we had no idea it was something people would want to do, and then it just keeps on coming up again and again and again.
The other thing is proving that you actually own that character behind that mnemonic as well without actually exposing the mnemonic. Let's say, however your game evolves and you have interactions between various individuals, it's a good way to actually share that, hey, these are actually my characters and or attributes and items. You can prove them. Have I been rugged?
No, I can.
No, I'm sorry. I like to think sometimes before I speak. Not all the time, just sometimes.
Oh, you should give bruceman and Robo a guide on how to do that.
Why do you think I'm here? I'm the one. I'm the voice of reason. No, I'm just kidding.
So basically, these dudes all got together like in the Telegram, and they were like, "Right, let's go on RAC FM and burn the fucking house down. Come on, let's go."
They're doing a good job, man. They're doing a fucking good job.
The Turkish
the
Turkish have got a good proverb about the British, though, right? About like how the Englishman will burn his house down to fucking get rid of the flea in the blanket or something like that. It's like all like we are mad, man. Anyway, right. Let's we want to continue the conversation. So, are you interested in Cheqd or not? Are you just too busy for the plebs? What's going on? Are you coming in? No, he's got nothing. Am I getting rugged now, bro?
No, you're not.
So, sorry, how much do you know about Cheqd?
Oh, I think he's been rugged.
He has, man. He has. Bbandz is up as the co-host, controlling it now.
No, I didn't notice that until just now. Now I have the power to silence people, but not you. But that's okay.
Your game's an interesting one. Your game's an interesting one, just like Dow's are. It's like the perfect use case for what these guys want to bring along, right? Because we're a bit like worried about, well, no, we were worried about the DAO and legalities and a few things, but like, yeah, man, like it just seems to be a match made in heaven. What's coming along, like the next evolutionary step, right?
Let me get it first.
Oh, sorry.
Oops, sorry.
No, go for it. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, let's get the beta launches in 3 weeks, in a few weeks. So let's get the first 21 tiles out and see if anybody likes the game first before I go and
Can you tell us more about it?
Counting my eggs before they hatch with it.
Can you tell us more about it? I clicked on the link and really cool to know more about it.
Like right now during this space.
Yes, Bbandz, don't be shy. The guy's asking, man. Like what?
Okay,
like
I just want to make sure because this is the space about Cheqd,
yeah,
friendly.
And it could integrate into your game quite well. I think, like maybe in the future. I mean, we're all looking at the future.
Okay,
I'm just really curious. I clicked on the Twitter account and then clicked on the website and stuff, and I don't have a hero, and I can't recover my hero because I don't have one. But I'm really curious what.
Also, you didn't save. Okay, so if you have to save that 24 words after you create your hero, just put that 24 words off to the side, kind of like your wallet. But every time you log into your browser, you'll be able to get your hero back as long as you log into that same as long as you open up the same browser.
Cool.
Yeah, so you won't have to keep logging in or anything like that. So basically, it's not like we're not a Web 2 or Web 3 game. We're not even chain specific. It's really about we're kind of like abstracting away all the technology from the user. So you don't need your email, password, or wallet to connect. You just log in, happens magically. If you are later on, if you don't have to, but if you would like to be able to get keys for loot boxes, you can do that via a credit card or doing it via MetaMask or something like that. But it's not required to play the game and to enjoy it. It's just if you want to go deeper into certain spots. They're currently using a custom co-founder persona to fill the third person team. So it's just like the LLM is doing a lot of the copy and the grunt work for us and generating the artwork. And it's also going to have its own budget, and we're kind of instructing it on what to do. But it's going to help with coming up with the puzzles. It's been helping coming up with the puzzles and monsters and stuff. So it's like a board game. Imagine you go and you get to your tile on a board game, but on that tile you have things that you have to accomplish or find, and then or fight somebody. And then you can choose whether you want to go left or right. And then depending on where you choose in the labyrinth, because it's called Maki Bomba and the Infinite Labyrinth, you will be able to kind of like, decide, you need to get to the end and fight the last person or whatever, but it's ever evolving. So it kind of makes it a little bit difficult. And that's kind of what, it doesn't require this. It's almost like maybe hopefully it'll become like a never ending game, but there is a plan for the game to end, but we're kind of deciding when we want to do that. We want to keep that a little mystery.
It's really cool. Oh, Matt, what's the parrot saying?
It's really cool. Sorry.
Oh, that's fucking brilliant.
And Straylight is the Straylight's the developer. So Straylight, he created Department 77 game, which is live on like 3 chains. It's live on NFTs on 3 different chains, and it's more like a very difficult sci-fi strategy game. Like you got to have like some huge brains to play that game. This one's going to be a lot more simpler for someone like myself to play.
Awesome.
And I got the peanut gallery over here. My husband saying smooth brains. You guys heard that?
Basically, though, like a great like onboarding tool as well, though. Like if people get into it and want to go further and stuff, and like discover what like stuff's all about, right?
Yeah, and then so like imagine if you're just a gamer, right? And you want to play the game, and you know how people get like V-Bucks, right? So like let's say you're like I want to get a key so I can get into this dungeon, let's say. So they pay with the credit card, but it won't get minted until they're ready to like sell it. The NF, so like if they buy it'll stay with attached to the character, but then they're like, okay, I don't need this key anymore. So then they'll say, okay, mint. They'll hit the mint button, send it over to the chain, and then we'll be able to trade it. Once they're done with that specific, key or something.
That's a cool mechanic. I see what you did there.
I wish Straylight's here, but
I invited him. I did invite him, but I think he might be busy. Yeah. I was just going to say it.
Well, he has his day job and he has meetings until 10:30 a.m.
I was just going to say
it. Difficult, yeah.
Smooth operator. She's a smooth operator. I love this crack, man. It's so good, no? Bruce, man, we know you had like a list of like, what was it, 85,000 questions or something, did you say?
Yeah. I have picked out of that list. I've just picked 2 questions. I think that could be good for like a closing conversation. Maybe that conversation would take approximately about 3 to 5 hours. So yeah, I'm good.
Shoot, let's hear them then. What have you got?
Yeah, okay. I have like how do you guys see the digital identity market evolving in the coming years? And like what role do you see your platform playing in this ecosystem?
Ooh, yeah.
Eduardo, get that report. There's that report. Yeah. Do you want to talk about the market research report? Because that's pretty poignant for that question, Fraser.
Have you posted it? Because I'll go and find it and put it in the nest. Yeah. What's this market report? Come on.
Eduardo, can you grab that blog, mate? My laptop's just gone to sleep. Basically, yeah. So Fraser, do you want to maybe sort of maybe Ed or Alex or you grab that link just so they can stick it in the nest?
Guys, if you're up as a speaker, you can throw stuff in the nest. Just so you know.
Yeah, man, you just click the button.
Yeah, you have to be a co-host, don't you?
No, dude. Any speaker can throw anything in the nest. Yeah, you just go and just click the share button and bang, it's done. Anybody? Yeah.
Wow.
So when you click the share button, it's the top option, the first choice.
Oh yeah,
That's just the name of the space.
I didn't realize that you could do it just as a speaper. I thought you had to be a co-host, so you've taught me something there. Thank you.
Well,
Checkmate. There you go. That was a good one.
We keep it quiet after what happened to Joe, because poor Joe, Cosmos DeFi.
You just call him Pooh Joe.
I didn't call him Pooh. Oh, Bruce. Joe, on the replay, when you listen back, you'll be like, that fucking Bruce. It'll be in me DMs, Joe, over this. Joe would let anybody up as a speaker at this particular time on this particular show, and someone came in and like raided his nest with a bot and just like posted like 247 videos of like what can only be described. I didn't even want to describe it. Let's
shit
just
show. A shit show.
It was a shit. It was a shit show, and it wasn't very good. That's all I'm going to say, right? And he's living in infamy. Beep, bop, 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 bop. I mean, we all know what's going on there, but yeah. So, guys, just be careful who you let up as a speaker in the future, because if you're hosting shows and you just didn't know that, and so I'm telling you, there's people like bombing people's spaces with bots to do that now these days. How? I mean, guys, I don't know if we can go off topic. I know Bruce had questions, but right, I'm going to go there. Spaces etiquette and spaces behaviour. Like, do we need to set the ground rules, or should everybody be establishing social norms? Or, I mean, because we're doing all right. And I mean, you guys are up here having fun. We seem to hit the shows okay, blah, blah, right? We do our job, we're vigilant, etc., etc. But when you've got things like people making bots to come in and do this to someone's show, like, I mean, you know, what's appropriate behaviour? You've got people coming in shilling. You heard Bbandz like, oh, no, not on the Cheqd show. Like, you know, like, because you're so humble, right? And got like a bit of humility, unlike 99% of the industry. What kind of, let's just go there. I'm going to get Alex, because, I mean, Alex, you've been quiet for a bit. Dude, give me a little bit of information about what you think is like good spaces behaviour, or what makes a good space, or can you give us some insight on what you think about Twitter spaces right now?
I think just feeling like you're just on a call with your mates, and you know, you don't have to say anything. You can just listen, you can just chill. It's just really nice. It's like comfort food. I think that's the best way of describing it for me. It's just like comfort food in the background. But then every so often there's just a nugget which makes you think, oh, I'm going to change my perspective a little bit on this. And if you can shift those perspectives just a few percentage in one direction, I think you're creating a good space, because you're creating something that's engaging people. Or also just quick FYI, guys, I've got a work call that I've got to drop for in 2 minutes on the half hour. So this is probably the last thing I'm going to be able to say here. But it's been an absolute pleasure to join the space with you guys.
Dude, you're welcome. You're golden. You're absolute golden. I am going to let Bruce, though, speak to you before you leave, because I know Bruce is your biggest fanboy, Alex. I know he's going to say goodbye to you.
Of course, man. Yeah, really nice talking with you, Alex. Impressive work you've done, man, and your knowledge about this field seems like you're front running the whole fucking industry. So I tip my hat to you.
Oh, cheers, guys. No, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thanks for the really engaging questions. And thanks for everyone else who's listening as well. I'll catch you guys all soon. I can't wait to do one of these again soon. So yeah, see ya.
Take it easy, Alex.
I also can see that now we've lost Alex, we're just going to get absolutely rinsed by bruceman.
Exactly, man. It's going to be a marathon now. I'm not going to let you leave.
Bruce, I've got one comment. Listen, dude, like from the fucking top to the bottom of the fucking organisation, these are just gigabrains all over the fucking place. Like, I mean, they've fucking got the mustard, dude, haven't they? They've got the minerals, right?
Absolutely. They're fucking impressive, man. They have the facts, they have the knowledge, and they have the crack. They can play ball, right? They come to our court and they're fucking prepared. I like it.
He threw you under the bus earlier. Sorry, Fraser.
No, Robert, what's like when you said got the minerals? What film is that from? I'm sure it's in something like Snatch or Logstone.
Yeah, it's Snatch. It's Alan Ford, right? Isn't it? Oh no, it's your man there. What's he called? Yeah. It's your man from. It's his lackey, isn't it? You want to see if I've got the fucking minerals, son? I'll tell you, it's my favourite dude.
Oh my god, yeah, it is. Is that
Do you know what fucking nemesis means, son? A righteous infliction of retribution manifested by an
honourable camp.
An honourable camp. In other words, me, son. Hey, do you know about Alan Ford? Do you know he got turned down for the role 3 times, and they were trying to get Sean Connery, right? And then Sean Connery ran Guy Ritchie and said, dude, you can't afford me. And I forgot who was. Alan Ford had taken somebody to one of the rehearsals with Guy Ritchie. They were doing it in Dave's pub, right? If you know about the crack, yeah. And basically what happened is, like, Alan Ford got invited back for, like, this 3rd interview, and he'd been failed every time, and he'd forgot his contact lenses or something. And so he'd had the glasses in the car. Isn't that right? He had to put his big, thick glasses on, and then Guy Ritchie looked at him and went, you've got the job, dude. Like, That's how he got the job, Alan Ford. He forgot his fucking contact lenses.
I didn't know that. Like,
yeah, it's such a good. There's so many of those as well. Where like, have you seen the interview on who's the guy that ended up fronting AC/DC, the Geordie guy, and apparently he just like turned up on a whim. They just like invited him down, and he didn't think like just turned up on a whim. He didn't really think he got it. So if I can dig it out, but it's like it's Brian Johnson, and he really
it is Brian Johnson.
Yeah, it's such a good interview where he explains how he got the gig, and at that point, like I think he was in a village or a pub band or something. Like it was pretty small stuff, and then went down like did this audition for AC/DC, and thought he bombed it, and like I think just got all the sauce or something either the night before or like afterwards, and then they rang him back with like, yeah, you've got it, and he just couldn't believe it. I really want to dig it out though because it's got a very similar vibe to like the Bricktop thing. It's just like he just had no idea.
Dude, there's about 20, 25 things associated with that film where you'd be like, fucking, like people don't even realise that Mickey, Brad Pitt's part, wasn't even in the fucking movie originally. Like he basically created that specifically just for Brad Pitt because Brad Pitt like rang him up and said, dude, like Mickey wasn't a fucking character. It was going to be he rewrote the movie for Brad Pitt. Dude, I mean, there was some mad shit. What did he pay? He paid like she charged him $1 million to use fucking Lucky Star or something for those few seconds, right? Fucking Madonna, man. Like it's only on for a few seconds. I think it's on twice, isn't it? Lucky Star? Fuck. $1 million, man, just for a few seconds. Imagine the smell.
Just to get back as well, just quickly, just while it's there, that question about where you see Cheqd going forward, I've put in market research report. It's in the nest.
I just
we bought your time. We bought your time, lad. We bought your time, right, Bruce? Take it away.
I just skimmed through it, man, and it looks. There's not many projects in the cosmos that present stuff that looks so professional. Let me say it like that.
Oh, we were really lucky with that. So like I started that off as like an Excel sheet and a bit of a blog and was like, oh, like this will just be handy because like we can just reference it and stuff. And I was just like, oh, we'll just do like a blog, it'll be fine. And then Alina was like, this could be so much more. Like this could be way, way more than what it is. And credit to her, she was like, okay, let's turn this into a proper report. We put it on like The Wire and it got picked up by Bloomberg, like just on The Wire and stuff. But like it was credit to her for the idea to like turn it from what I thought it was into what it became because it had way more of an impact in the way that she did it than like what I was thinking. It's awesome. It's definitely one of those like lessons to be like, whenever you're putting something out, just take a think about it and like, because it could just have way more impact than the way you were originally thinking about it, if that makes sense. That's a long way of saying it. It just turned into something infinitely better than where it started.
I think that's a good description, infinitely better, because that shit is really good. Like, yeah, it's thorough, right? And oh my God, there's a lot of money in the market too.
That was the answer to the question I was waiting for you to get to. Where do you think it's going to be? How big do you think it's going to be? The numbers are right on that report.
Yeah,
billions, boy.
Yeah. But that was the thing that like. So we'd spent a couple of years in SSI and like decentralized ID, like doing this kind of thing. And like when we went out raising and like getting money together to go and do this, it blew our minds that no one had a number for how big the market was going to be. Like you'd have people who'd spent like 4 or 5 years building companies in this space, and yet no one had like a market overview number. And like, this is ridiculous. Like, how has everyone spent so much time building technical stuff and no one knows like what the market's worth? So we just pulled it together quickly, launched this, and then like it blew up in the best way because like no one had done just the basic homework in the first place. It's really cool.
So yeah, I think we've talked about this a couple of times in different spaces about how special and unique the crypto space is because of all this innovation and all this money, but the lack of traditional businessmen. of business people, right? All these devs that have brilliant minds and can develop brilliant software, but the sense of business is just lacking.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I totally agree with that. And it's just like, I'd say it's even worse, or it was even worse in like decentralized ID and credentials, because like, at least with like NFTs and tokens and stuff, like you've got to consider the money anyway, because that's kind of what a lot of it's around. Like you've already got like the payment stuff like built in, whereas the credential side of things was just like, it's just pure data moving around. And so you had loads of like super smart engineers and architects building all this stuff, and you still do, but they just never thought about the money. It's still like, we're so early on that side of things, where we're the few people where they're like, we're not going in and be like, oh, you can move this data around. What we're going is like, there's a whole market here to be made, and just like the way it gets received is so much better as a result. Where we can be like, there's something huge here we can tap into. Like, let's go. Just a different way. But you're right. Like it's such a different world.
Am I getting rugged? I lost Fraser there. Am I getting rugged or what?
No,
I hear him.
I heard you both. Yeah, he's good.
So something I've been thinking about that you also mentioned about, I think you mentioned in your answer, the fact that software development and software engineering is such a highly reputational driven field. It's insane, right? This is why also the devs and all the programmers, they get on each other's backs about when they say something wrong and who built what and all this shit, right? We've seen it tons of times in the cosmos and throughout blockchain history. So why have these guys that can build whatever they want in a software system or in a computer not built anything like this before? Because it's been needed since forever.
Yeah, I think it's because like the two communities have just never spoken to each other. So if you look at like the SSI credentially people, like they've all got like I'm at one of their conferences right now, and there is like zero crossover with like any of the other like crypto Web3 things, like conferences. So like there's no one that I've met here who is in like crypto or Web3 at all. Like there were maybe one or two sessions on like NFTs here, and that was it. And it was all to do with ticketing, and that was the only discussions, right? So, and then on the flip side, like if you go to all the crypto stuff, like no one has been doing credentials, or like not until really recently. And there's still, because it's like a crypto conference, it's based around blockchains and stuff, everyone just does them on Ledger. So for the longest time, basically those two communities just haven't spoken to each other. And so like as soon as you like just blend the two together, it becomes really, really obvious that you need something like this. To use another analogy, like, or another example, like regardless of what you think about the guy, like the reason James Dyson of like the Hoovers has been so successful is he typically takes like an invention or something that works really, really well in one industry and moves it into another. So like the whole bagless vacuum thing has existed in sawmills for like 100 years. And all he did was take that idea and put it into like a household vacuum. And then like the cordless, like brushless drills and stuff, the like super silent fans he was creating, and like hair dryers and all that kind of stuff. Like the brushless motors all existed in dentistry for like a good 20, 30 years. And he just moved them into using them for fans and using them for like hair dryers. And then like a final example, just to like really hammer it home. So like in fluid mechanics, you've got a thing called the Bernoulli principle. And it's basically like if you've got a pipe and you've got water down it, the center of the water going down the center of the pipe goes at the pressure and the speed that you push out. But anything that gets close to the wall starts to hit friction. And so like as you get closer and closer to the wall, the liquid slows down. So it's going way quicker in the middle than it is at the side. And he flipped that on its head and used it for those bladeless fans that you see. So the way that they work is they fire like air really high velocity out of a very thin like vein. And then that with the friction it has on the rest of the air just accelerates like loads of other like a big volume of air. So it's just, I think a lot of what we've done is like take really solid tech that's existed and just brought it into a completely new space and blended it together. And it's that means that like I really hopefully it takes off, and all the feedback that we're getting suggests it will. But it's just taking something from a different area and bringing it across, and yeah, it's just blending those two communities. I think is one of the big things. See, Matt's got some thoughts.
Yeah, basically the last thing I wanted to add on the back of that as well, in the sense of, how big this could be with regards to what we've just discussed with the report. What this team has built in the space of 2 years is far bigger than most other SSI projects that we've come across, in the sense that we support so many more verifiable credential formats, whether it's JWT, JSON LD, Aries Framework, JavaScript, and Creds, the Veramo SDK, Status List 21. Then we're going to be looking at Akapai and .NET. Nobody else has been able to do that as well. And then in the time that we've done that, there's other projects that have been around for Eduardo mentioned this to me a little while ago, and it was just so poignant. In that time, with half the size of a team, other projects have come nowhere close. It'll take off.
Impressive. Robo, go ahead.
Tell you what, that's a community manager earning his salary right there, isn't it? I mean, I'm telling you, I'm going to flagship this. Like, I want every community manager, right, in this entire ecosystem of IBC that we cover to listen to you, man. And you think I'm biased just because we come from villages little estates, I should say, next to each other. Now, listen to that, man. That is absolute giga professionalism. Dude, I only put my hand up to say it. I'd love to hear Fraser have a crack on with Liz the Diz. Fraser, you should meet our friend Liz. She builds Tesla turbines. But what you were talking about repurposing, dude, I'm all about this shit, man. Reverse engineering, repurposing shit. Dude, that's what the world should be about, right?
It's just so efficient. In terms of making gains, taking something that works, it's bulletproof, and just shifting it somewhere that it's going to have it's a little bit like what Musk did with SpaceX, was just took a load of principles that you get in any other industry, mostly software, and applied it to space rockets. It was all the same principles, just in a different industry where historically that's not how it worked. And the reason it had such a big impact was because it came from outside, and it did work, and they just needed to try it. So yeah, I'm such a fan of taking this approach of something that works elsewhere and punting it across, and just okay, let's see if it. And the other really cool thing about it is so we're doing some really, really cutting edge stuff on some of the new SDKs we're doing, the revocation, the payment stuff. The payment stuff is really, really cutting edge, but issuing credentials in the way that Creds works is that's been around for 3 or 4 years, just no one thought to use it in this way. So I'm always a big fan of the big R&D difficult stuff, but at the same time you can use something like Creds and just show off and be this is SSI, this is credentials, and just the risk is so much lower because that it works, and it has worked for a long time. So yeah, big fan of doing it that way, because it's just the risk is so low.
So bro, I have to obviously remind, it's a Friday, Bruce. We always have to go there, don't we? Last week was a bit different because it was the family getting it all out there. But the specials, Finn warns us, the 2 hour mark, he's dudes, if you hit the 2 hour mark, that's beauty spot. Technical stuff, Bruce. Can we finish off? And about Cheqd, I just want to talk to the guys as fucking human beings, if that's all right, for a minute. That's okay.
Yeah, I have one more.
Can we wind Bbandz, Brucey? You're the co-host, so
I have one more question.
I swear to God, you're like Columbo. Did you ever watch that show, Columbo? He's
I love him.
He's asking questions, right? And then the person's relieved that he's done asking questions, right? And as he's walking away, Columbo's one more question. He sticks his finger out, and he turns around and he looks at him, and he's so what about this? And then the person's shocked that Columbo knew. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Let's have the convo. Bruce, we're going to do this live because no, Bruce, shut the fuck up. None of us have mentioned this in the DMs. Dude, what did you do to Vanessa the other night? Do you realize nobody on the fucking team expected any fucking stunts like that? dude, if you're going to do that again, give us some pre-warning so we can, I mean, Bbandz, come on, back me up here. I'm like, is this dude on shrooms again? He's on the wheel space talking about a fucking raccoon going down to a river, like, and stroking a fucking whale with a hat or something on. I'm like, bro, man, can we get to the point? Don't worry, guys. Finn will edit this from the recorded one. Don't worry, boys. I'm just reminding Cheqd guys that we've got control of the recording. So, Bbandz, what's going on with your man, Bruce? I mean, Vanessa, Bruce...
Listen, Bruce is an equal opportunity questioner. He's not going to be like, oh, this is the female. I'm just going to, kick back and, not come on aggressive. He is treating her like he would have treated anybody else. And Bruce, I appreciate that, because sometimes people kind of like lay it easy just to make sure, like, but here's the thing though, you got to make sure that the person that you're doing with it isn't like a million times smarter than you, because like that shit, like that.
Let us know though, Bbandz.
Not well for you, because she just got you right back.
He could have let us know. He could have let us know that he was going to be like, oh, what do you think about this particular issue? And then like get a 3-minute explanation and go, well, your LinkedIn profile from 2015 says this. And I'm like, oh, I curled up in a ball. I curled up in a ball on the floor, like with a dog.
Listen, I wasn't even, I didn't curl. I actually was like, I think I was surprised and like pleasantly surprised. I mean, shocked a little bit, let the lady live. But at the same time, I was like, wow, I that came out of fucking left field, and it definitely made for great conversation. So I appreciated that.
Of course. That's why I'm rubbing him on a space. Like, I'm only bigging him up. Like, come on. I mean, he went there. That's what like happened. And the same thing is with the white whale guys were in the DMs immediately laughing their heads off. And something, that's what I want to ask Fraser and Matt tonight. Guys, we want it like Fraser was like talking about, was it Fraser or your man Alex is like, you're just going over to your friends and having like dinner. Boys, do you feel like you've racked up to the RAC FM table tonight and you've had a scran with the boys or what? The boys and girls, sorry.
The thing I wish I'd done is got like, because I'm in Berlin at the moment, it's got a Turkish like kebab and then like a beer, because it's already like getting on for 4 here and it's the end of the conference, and just chilled out in the sun. I've made a mistake. I'm in a phone booth, like in an office, and I should have just been like outside in the sun with a couple of beers and a kebab. And I feel like I've made a mistake, because otherwise, like, it's been awesome. It's wholesome, really, really wholesome, despite bruceman's like attempts.
It has been a cracking spaces. Like, the thing I like about the way you guys conduct your spaces, as well as when you were talking about etiquette, is that one question was asked to me previously about how you should go on and should you be professional. The way you guys conduct your spaces, it's in a way that's unique. It's your own image, it's your own brand. You don't really care what people say, and it actually works quite well, because it makes the conversation a lot more fluid. People get a little bit more relaxed and a bit more open, and it works well. But yeah, I've taken a chunk out of your table tonight, and I'll be back again, boys.
Oh, I tell you what, Matt, my goodness. You have absolutely nailed. And I mean, I tell you what, guys, I'm going to say this. We've been doing this for over a year. Obviously, a lot of stuff before Terra Spaces came along wasn't recorded, but we've got like hundreds of hours going back to early August. Like, we've had like massive names. We've done massive numbers. And I'm telling you now, tonight, I'm going to publicly declare this. And Finn will be like on the recording, like, Robo's right again. I'm leaving in this Easter egg, Finn, right, for the recording. Matt's performance tonight, and Fraser and Alex, by the way, but fucking dude, when does a community manager ever come on a call and talk like that? Bbandz, I'm sorry, like, I'm going to say this right now. When was the last time, Bbandz, you heard a community manager come on and give a performance like that tonight?
Oh, I was thinking really
she might
hard.
be rugging me. Go on, Fraser.
No,
you're lovely, by the way, Fraser, but I want
to... Robo, we hear Bbandz.
Oh, I'm getting rugged again.
Cállate! That means shut up in Spanish. I was thinking really hard. Can't. There are a lot of great communities that we have chatted with, but this was definitely an amazing chat. And I'm not going to be like throwing anybody under the bus, but I don't know what you're looking for, Robo.
No,
well, I'm not spooning you, Robo, if that's what you're looking for. Thanks for the compliments, but I'm not that way out.
Dude, I'm just saying, though. Every time the speaker changes, I'm getting rugged. Like, this space is getting so ruggy now. Like, guys, I'm in and out all the time. Like, I'm really apologetic about, like...
Hey, guys, real quick. Y'all don't know. Risby just left, but I'm part of Team Gelato as of today. So I just kind of wanted to let everybody know. And since Robo can't hear me, it's awesome. Oh, wait, he put a heart. Damn it, he can hear me. I thought it would be kind of fun.
I can't hear you. And you know what? That's amazing because I remember the space with the white paper and Gelato like a couple of weeks ago, like, oh, Bbandz. Man, I've never had a sister. I've only ever had one brother, but I feel like I've got one now in my life, man. It's the first time ever, man. It's amazing. Guys, I have to say, if you can still hear me, I was getting this towards the end. Every time Fraser was speaking, like in the last like about 10 minutes or something, it just kept rugging on me, man. This is like, Elon, dude, sort your life out. I hope people can hear me. But I'm going to just shut my mouth and just say, and I was big and mad up, and then I probably got like rugged to death while I was like off and couldn't speak. I mean it though, like the Cheqd team. So I think you'll find tweets from me from like 2021. Steve's just like commented on my proper profile. So you know, I mean, Steve, right? Big Cheqd fan for a long time. He's just like a nice one, mate. Like I've known like these guys and what they've been doing for a long time, but they just went away and they built right through the bear market. They remind me of like other projects like Kudos and that where people might be sleeping on them. Is anybody, by the way, guys, I don't know if you know about the Friday curse. Well, it's not a curse. Has anybody checked the Cheqd chart? Anybody checked the Cheqd chart? Bruce, we've had on nearly every Friday show. What's happened to the Cheqd price tonight? Anything or nothing?
I'm just going and checking. Ha ha ha.
So I don't have the voice. No,
but anyway, I got. Oh yeah, we're up. Cheqd is up 2,500%. No, I'm kidding. They are up 3.55 in the last 24 hours. No Friday effect today. So.
Oh, no Friday bump today. Boys, we've seen ridiculous pumps like when projects have come on, like Kudos. Has to be like the first show, it'll pump like 25% or something. But no, guys, honest to God, you've passed the sniff test. Brucey, what you got to say before we wind out with the boys?
So I said I had two questions. I only got an answer for one of them. And I do want to know, guys, and maybe if you can answer this question with only using 609 characters, that would be awesome. How do you plan to ensure user adoption and engagement? Like there's $14 billion in the market or maybe more, right? How are you going to grab them?
Yeah, I think two things. So one is like the payment side of things. So a lot of this data is like sat with big companies that have these huge silos, and we're going to use those payments basically in the incentives there to like get that data back out to individuals and end like surveillance capitalism. That's the idea. So one side is just like using greed to give people like data and privacy back, because who as a company isn't going to want money, but we need to get that data back to individuals and just change that behavior and put it back into your control, your ownership. But I think the other thing is like is creds and the way that we're going about that. So that's really like user experience driven. And I think one of the things that like this, like the credentials or SSI community hasn't done in the past is like build cool stuff that people want to use. And so we think we've got a good start now. Like everyone that we've shown to like likes the look of it. But the thing we really need, like Ross is on holiday at the moment, but he's just been doing user interviews with like all sorts of people, all focused on like user experience and making sure that it looks good and feels good. And we need to just get into that basically. Like that's the really big thing, is we need to get it to a situation where people like think it's cool, they want to interact with it on a daily basis, and they want to spread it far and wide. And so like I think Creds is our attempt to like get into that where it's like this just it works, it looks good, and people want to use it on a daily basis. So it's two kind of things. One is like massive market dynamics and using like economics and that kind of thing to fix like structural data market problems. And then the second one is just build cool stuff that people want to use and interact with, and like it's SSI, decentralized ID under the hood, but you don't need to know that. You just want to know that it's cool and you want to use it on a daily basis to solve problems that you've got. So I'd say those are the two. Matt, Eduardo, like any thoughts from yourselves?
I mean, there's go on.
No, I just want to say, like, I wanted you guys to use max 609 characters because I want to be mindful of time, right?
Did he say my characters? Did he?
Bro, man, I fucking love the crack. Go ahead, Matt.
I haven't really got too much to add on that. I'm going to leave the longer term strategy to the bigger boys, and I'm going to focus on engaging the community and making sure people get all the latest news. And on that, I've just thrown up a tweet up in the nest there. We've got a major partnership session which will be happening on the 18th at 1600 UTC +1, where our head of partnerships, Toby, will be dropping some big news. So if you're interested to know what that is, it's a major development for us. We think that's not going to be one to be missed. So yeah, that was it.
Thank you so much, man. What do you say, Robo and Bbandz? I think that was a nice little
dude. Mate, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to replay immediately. Like literally for the last 15 to 20 minutes, I'm just constantly getting rude. I can see who's on mute, and then I see like it's either Fraser or Matt or you that's not on mute, and I'm like, fuck, I know one of them's talking because I've been rude several times. So like I'm just like, oh fuck, dude, I'm in and out. This is what you have to do to keep the space running, but at least you fellas...
Hey, Robo, can you hear me?
Yes, of course, darling. What's up?
Maybe it's the algorithm. Like, maybe the algorithm is, like, hearing you talk, and it's not sure if you're, like, what language you're speaking, so it keeps, like, kicking you out.
She's absolutely savage her towards you, Robo. I love it.
But also, like, if it's happening to Robo, how's it not happening to Matt as well?
Do you know, your boss has just absolutely fucking thrown you under the bus and all. You threw Bruce under the
bus. That's all right. Believe you me, he'll get it next time. He knows what's coming. Don't you further.
Oh, he's going to wake up in some bird shit.
Holy fuck. Honestly, guys, listen, this has been a cracker. An absolute cracker. We're literally hitting the 2-hour mark, and we know everybody's got lives, and like literally my phone's on like dying legs here. What a cracking space tonight. Fraser, mind, Matt, we appreciate, like, proper family. If you come on here and you pass like the RAC sniff test, like you're golden, you know. And I'm actually like looking forward to you guys becoming like if you just hit what you want to do, it's going to be really nice, like to see the fact that like, yeah, these guys like built through the bottom of the bear. Like they just didn't complain, didn't moan, blah, blah. They got on with it. And like, look, like what they're doing now. I can't wait to see you guys succeed. Like you make me, the 2 years of that night, I'm just like, I can't wait to see these guys succeed, yeah.
Oh, really kind.
Thanks, man.
Really, really kind. And yeah, love it. Like, and like Matt was saying earlier, like the style of the way you guys operate is just awesome. Like it's so genuine, like, and the unplannedness, even with like bruceman's like rapid planning in the background, like it's just so good all round. Like it's just genuine, and that's what makes all the difference.
Dude, he scares us, you know, Bruce. I mean, I'm sure Bbandz is a bit scared right now. We've tried to keep this shit anonymous on the DAO and that, but like, man, I'm really getting worried right now. Like Bbandz, I mean, Bruce, are you 50-50 or what? Are you on the fence?
So what? This is my life, right?
You're doing on it. Can you wait? And don't do it too loud. You need to do it a little bit quieter. But can you just say like, put the token in the DAO in the Arnie voice for me?
Okay. It's always, I haven't warmed up, and sometimes I don't hit it, right? Just give me a moment.
You might need to warm up. Guys, for the Arnie voice. Bbandz thoughts.
Just mute yourself and warm up a little bit. Yeah.
I will put the token in the DAO. My eyes! The goggles do nothing. Oh, a little clone baby. Yeah, okay.
My God. Can you believe, boys, you get on the floor, you come on the show, man, you get impressions, man. Yeah. Mr. Shelby, Mr. Churchill, I'll be in touch now, so we will. I said you a chance of the fucking phone. Boys.
Oh, that is good. That is good.
They've loved it. Oh, would you like a cup of tea, Father? Would you like a cup of tea now? Would you like a cup of tea, Father?
Oh, can you please do the... I heard you're a racist now, Father.
Oh, no, dude. Fraser's trying to get... Fraser's on the trying to get his fucking pants. If I went there, oh, Jesus. Come on, dude. Anyway, boys, let's end it on that note. I'm beaming from Eatery. Bbandz, let's go, Bruce. You enjoyed yourselves tonight, kids, yeah? You cats? Been all right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Huge crack.
Yeah, really enjoyed it. Thanks very much. Give us a shout next time you're ready for the next one. I'll probably be floating in and out of your regular spaces when I'm just cruising to it anyway. But otherwise, have a cracking weekend, and thanks very much for a mint spaces.
Well, hey, Matt, before we leave, can you tell me or tell the space what you wrote in the Telegram group to me right before we started around at 5 minutes before the space?
Yeah. I did. I can't believe you're about to do that to me, Bruce.
No way.
I did. It's the truth.
What's happening?
We slightly forgot that this space was on because we've been so busy, and it was like 5-2. It was like, Bruceman, are we just checking? Are we still going to go with this? If not, because we don't recall any promotion, do you want to kick it down the road? And man, when I look back, that was a grave error of judgment. And I'm so glad that you shot me down with the rapid text fire, basically calling me a pleb and saying, get on the live, because it worked out for the best.
Oh, man, you're golden. You're fucking golden.
Boys and girls, I have to say, what a great night tonight. We've had like people jumping in and out, obviously, but we've had like quite a good crew. This'll do. So I'm telling you, this'll do. Sick numbers, because people come for the crack and they stay for the crack. And honestly, you boys all day long are pure like crack. Like, and I do like heart to heart. Yeah, I wish you all the best. Anyway, I'm gonna wind it out. And I'm going to say like a little thing. I'm going to leave a little Easter egg, right, for Finn on the recording, because this is what we've been doing lately. If you literally go to RAC FM and listen to recorded shows, like literally you got to Spotify, put in RAC FM, go to racfm.org. You can go in Google Podcasts or whatever it is, whatever you do on an iPhone. I don't know. I've never had an iPhone, but whatever podcasts we're on over there as well. Literally, like, just... You want to listen to the production, so I'm going to leave something for Finn. So, Finn, you sent your bot. You didn't turn up. It was a cracker anyway. I mean, you'd have made it like a lot better, but you weren't here, you pleb. You didn't have the ability to do that. If I find out that you haven't popped in that Omniflix fucking space on my behalf and fucking worked, and you just think, oh, now you've been funded, well, then you're a clever cunt, aren't you? So I'm coming for you like Finn, I'm telling you. Be warned, mind, if you... I didn't know now because I've been focused.
All right. Yes, I did. I made it, okay? I got up. I went in. I made it. So just chill, baby. Just chill. My mama's in town visiting. I can't be hanging out with you assholes all the whole time, you know?
You haven't been on the Omniflix space, dude. There'll be trouble.
I was.
Right? So I'm going to log out and find out.
Yeah,
Bbandz, Bruce, Matt, Fraser, see you later. Good night, goodbye. Take care wherever you're on the world. Love you.
There's this principle in like Taoism. There's this principle in like Taoism where it's like the more you fight something, the more like the opposite of what you want, like just inevitably it kind of starts to happen. There's this principle in like Taoism where it's like the more you fight something, the more like the opposite of what you want, inevitably it kind of starts to happen.
Chirping on the Bird app, listening to nerds slap, wondering why the fuck my timeline's so cursed. It's like everybody's holding heavy bags in Web3. That's why they can't fly, they just drowning in the bird bath, fishing for some dry powder. Watch how we ignite the tower, blowing up their bank accounts, forgetting how to fight the power. Y'all don't even realize how deep this shit goes. They preach an open source, but don't listen to the code, and now it's mutiny, community, uprise. There's No more humility, futility, plus size. Motherfuckers leaking from the wrench down to the bare metal. Which side the line you bleeding out on when the dust settles? Motherfucking west side shit, needle and noose. Sticking with my armory, and Beto and Bruce. Reppin' psychedelic artistry, believing the truth. Like these motherfuckers even need a reason to sue? GM fam.
Really worth all the effort? Is it really worth all the fighting? Is it really worth all the drama? And the answer, I think, is a clear no.
They started using Zoom, now we finna zoom out. Teaching all these plebiscites what this game's really all about. Little baby bitches when they choose to have fits. All you're left with is kibble when you lose all them bits. And that kibble's just sawdust, this shit is all rust. Not a great look, you're what we'd call all nuts. And I for one did not see that coming. Cracking open books, yo, that's a lot of money. Meanwhile over here rewiring features. More critical thinking, less knee-jerk. More evolution, less shitcoin preachers pretending to be teachers. Y'all just predatory leeches. I mean, please, just look at the track record. A bunch of VC rap fucks sucking up the cheddar. The recipe is 2 steps, rinse and repeat. Now we all in your butts and we bring in receipts. GM fam, have a seat.
If you're listening to this, my plea to you would be like, don't have to take a side on it. Just say like, is it really worth this war of attrition? It might cost us a lot more than what can be gained by like fighting this to the bitter end. And sometimes it's better to just like move on.
Terror spaces.